Well, that just means we've been massively outvalued here. And really and truly, as we head to fatigue, there's nothing we can do. Polymorph isn't enough. Baron could heal us up a bit, but with Double Lich King, Rag and Statue on board, there is no coming back at all. But for every poor game, there's always a game that goes according to plan. And in this case, Frostlich Jaina on 9 against an aggro deck. So this game looks like it is very hard to lose. Equality to kill one water elemental feels good on my part. And what's really strange is he's hero powering. Why on earth would you hero power here? Because now that just gives me an opportunity to make a water elemental. That's really strange. So now I'm looking at this board and thinking, what could go wrong here? What could honestly go wrong? Oh, another hero power gives me a water elemental. Oh, but there is Tarim, and that has changed the complexion of this game massively. And what's interesting there is he doesn't trade. So, what does that open up for me? That opens up a trade into Tarim, get it down to 4 health, and then I can Flame Strike. I can ping the shield and Flame Strike, but that would put a 4/4 Nerubian on the board. Is that something that I want to deal with at this point? So this is a tough turn. This is a tough turn. Contemplating various other options here as well. If you're unsure, then the Blizzard seems like a safe bet. Gives you a bit more time to think things over. We generate a water elemental. We get the healing value, which I think is actually important here. And now we can sit on this board for a little bit, think about what we want to do next turn. Oh wow, Silver Sword. Interesting. Okay, so now it's buffed up that Nerubian egg. I really wanted to ping the egg and then Flame Strike, but it's fine. This sort of accomplishes the same thing. We clear the board, we heal up, and we've got water elementals on the board. Again, it's looking like a very difficult game to lose, unless we screw up massively. No. He's got no threats left. We have a series of threats in our hand. Feels good. Okay, so today we are playing mmdhs's Big Spell Mage on Wild Mode. Now, I'd played Big Spell Mage on Standard and really enjoyed it. And so I thought, okay, let's try it out on Wild. So, what makes the Wild version special or different? Well, first of all, Ice Block is in this deck, double Ice Block, and it's really good because it stops you from dying to combos. And you know, there are a few combo decks out there at the moment. You know, Mind Blast Priest is seeing a bit of a resurgence. Yeah, so Ice Block does sort of stop those lethal combos, allows you to survive a little bit more for a little bit longer, and then of course if you've got some elementals on the board, the following turn you can use the elementals to attack and heal back up again. So Ice Block is especially useful in this deck. The problem with Ice Block though is that it can unfortunately synergize with Dragon's Fury, and that's problematic because you just get a 3 damage AoE. Now, against aggro decks, that's fine. 3 damage AoE, it kills dudes, it even kills buffed up dudes. So that's not a bad thing. But against sort of control decks or sort of mid-rangey decks, you probably want to get those Dragon Furies synergizing with the likes of Flame Strike or Blizzard or Meteor to do more damage. Anyway, so Twilight Flamecaller also in this deck. Very interesting addition. I guess included to deal with Paladins more than anything, because the 1 damage AOE kills the recruits. But is that enough of a justification? So some interesting questions there regarding this deck. Let's have a look at it in action here on the Wild Mode ladder. We're going to look at 2 different games. And we're starting off here against, oh look, Paladin. So if you're going up against a Paladin, it should more or less be an assured victory with your Twilight Flamecallers, with your various bits of AOE, with Frost Exchanger. They can generate all of the dudes that they want, but you should be able to survive and to outvalue them. Now, Arcanologist is a really interesting inclusion in this deck. It draws out those ice blocks, and that's something that you want to do before playing Dragon's Fury. Because obviously you don't want Dragon's Fury synergizing with Ice Block if the minions on board have 3 or more health. Okay, and there is Ice Block number 1. So we're expecting Call to Arms on turn 4. I think that is a standard expectation with Paladin these days. Nerubian Egg, an interesting inclusion, plays around AoE a little bit. That's pretty decent. Come dance to my song. The Artificer drawn means that we're going to get some healing value at some point in this game.
None may steal our secrets.
He's contemplating the egg trade. Yeah, it seems good. So he's got quite a commanding presence on the board. These are not small minions. Twilight Flamecallers are not going to deal, you know, with 3/4s and 4/4s. So, bit of an awkward turn for me here. I found it first. But at the very least, we can kill some 1/1s. And I'm actually going to plop down a Doomsayer, because what I'm expecting here is I'm expecting a trade to kill the Doomsayer. That means my minions survive, and maybe that'll help set something else up next turn. Maybe with Meteor. These trades are interesting. Is that silence? Of course. Of course. For a moment I thought he was going to get egg value, let the Doomsayer go off, and then get a 4/4 Nerubian. Okay. So, can you see what I'm telegraphing here? Can you see what I'm setting up? I think he can see it too. It's so obvious. I'm setting up a Baron Geddon turn. So let's see if he's going to react in any way. Yes. Sunkeeper Tarim. Playing around Baron Geddon. Smart player. However, if in doubt, like you saw at the beginning of this video, if in doubt, consider Blizzard. Buys you a little bit of time to think, may not clear a board, but in this case we get some armour. Alternatively, Meteor is a consideration, but I don't think Meteor does enough here. At least with Blizzard, we freeze the entire board, and you know, we can start pinging away at his board at our leisure. We also set up Baron Geddon as another play.
Reporting for duty.
Okay, I think it's an easy Baron Geddon. Clearing most of the board there, and Baron Geddon he's a significant threat against Paladin. I mean, look at the investment here. So trade and a consecration just to get rid of Geddon, because he knows that as long as Geddon lives, the board's not safe. Those dudes are going to get massacred.
An incredible discovery.
Drawing the second dice block, not really critical or pertinent. It's more to get the Arcanologist down as a body, a 2-3 body on the board that's going to contest some of the things that he plays.
Warriors of the frozen wastes. Rise.
Okay, so now we can probably start to make a little bit of a comeback. We have the Meteor. We can get some here, some armor. Feels good.
Reality woven.
Now we have control of the board. We've seen a consecration, so we're hoping that our artificer there is going to be safe. Oh goodness gracious, that's a Murloc Knight.
Reporting for duty.
For those of you watching this video, please post a comment in chat right now. When's the last time you saw Murloc Knight played on the ladder? Honestly, I am racking my brain to try and remember when is the last time that card got played. Oh goodness, and there are no minions in hand. 2 spells, how interesting. Okay, so our board gets wiped. That's unfortunate. Wow, Murloc Knight. That really does bring back memories. And he plays it again. Do you know it's interesting that in normal Murloc Paladin, this is not a normal Murloc Paladin, but in a normal Murloc Paladin on Wild, Murloc Knight does not get played at all. So I find it fascinating that at rank 4 that we're seeing Murloc Knight. It is a blast from the past, and I guess I can understand why it's played. You know, it generates a minion with the hero power, an extra minion, that's reasonable I guess. Synergizes with that weapon, you buff those wide boards. Okay, fair enough, I get it. But it's certainly a shock. So, what are we looking for now? We're looking for Frostlich Jaina. That's basically what we're looking for. Once you draw her, you basically win. But sometimes, Jaina, she ends up being in sort of the last 5 cards of your deck, and that's not helpful at all. Luckily for us though, we have AOE. Oh look, there's some more AOE. So, it's between Dragon's Fury and Flame Strike. I'm going to Flame Strike here. We just want to keep the board clear, allow our board to survive. Dragon's Fury probably would have wiped out our board too. Yeah, that's game over. That's a very strange game with Murloc Knights. Okay. Heading into our next game. Oh good, it's not a Paladin. So, do you know what? I'm going to keep Jaina. You may look at that and think, that's a bit unconventional, that against an aggressive deck, maybe I'm looking for cards that I can play early, but it's fine, we have the Twilight Flamecaller.
Hello
So those dudes are going to die, it's fine. Sure, Jaina's going to be a turn 9 play, but with Dragon's Fury and Twilight Flamecaller, oh, and Doomsayer, I don't think we're going to have any problems here. And I think that's how confident you can be with a hand like this. Okay, so here's a question for you then. Do we coin out the Twilight, or do we just play Doomsayer? I think it's the Doomsayer because, well, he has to find... What does he have to find? he has to find 3 damage. If he runs Rallying Blade, there's always that possibility that he gets 3 damage. But I say it's unlikely. I say it's unlikely. If it were turn 4, he could play a Stegodon. He's just gonna pass. Fair enough. So now, what do we do? Oh, I guess play the Raven. We could play double Raven here. Okay, now it really is clear what kind of a Paladin it is. Yeah, we could have played double Raven, but I value the coin. Frostlich Jaina on 8 sounds even better than Frostlich Jaina on 9. Okay, may as well draw some more AOE. Okay, Polymorph, fair enough. But we're getting more information about his deck. We've just seen Muster for Battle. So we know very much that this is a dude-centric Paladin. Seemingly not going for the odd or even synergies. Playing a bit more of an old-school dude Paladin. And here's the beauty of Twilight Flamecaller. No one expects it at all. The question is it a worthy inclusion in the deck? Does it get you value against anyone that isn't a Paladin? What other classes, what other deck types have an abundance of 1 health minions that you're desperate to get rid of?
Put this apple on your head.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
Well, this is one of the things about aggro Paladin or dude Paladin. It's that refill potential. You clear one board that's full of dudes and then you just play a few more. Well, thankfully for, you know, this deck here, look at the options in my hand. You know, everything from Dragon's Fury to Blizzard to Baron Geddon. There's so many options. And using the Dragon's Fury there may seem a bit like overkill because there wasn't that much on the board. But I'd just rather keep it clear, right?
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
And again, is this a board that we want to clear? I think it is, because of the potential of Sunkeeper Terran. And Baron Geddon is going to pretty much ensure that any more dudes coming down, they're going to get killed, they're going to get massacred.
Reporting for duty.
Unless he can buff them up, of course.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
Oh dear, he's just playing more dudes. And he's going to buff them up. Okay, what buff does he get? Oh, Wind Fury. And that does absolutely nothing. Even with a health buff, we still have Blizzard available to us. You know, let's not underestimate the potential for a Baron Geddon Blizzard combo. Okay, so mmdhs's Big Spell Mage on Wild Mode. Tremendous fun. You know, the use of Baron Geddon against Dude Paladin, the use of Twilight Flamecaller against Dude Paladin, just tremendous. The questions, of course, that we have to ask is Twilight Flamecaller worthy of inclusion in this deck, assuming that you're just using it against Dude Paladin? How else does Twilight Flamecaller prove its worth against other decks, against other classes? That's an important consideration. And if you guys have got any thoughts on the inclusion of Twilight Flamecaller, I would be interested in what you have to say. So do leave some comments below on what you think about that card. But apart from that, you know, it looks like a pretty bog standard Big Spell Mage. You run all the big spells. Of course, this is wild, so Ragnaros is a pretty cool inclusion. If you played Prostate Jaina, do remember that the 8 damage hits from Rag do heal you, so that's pretty important. And you know, there's a phenomenal amount of versatility in this deck. You do crush aggro decks, but against sort of control style decks, the double polymorph really comes in handy, particularly against Cubelock, and also against Big Priest as well. If you can polymorph, the first big thing that they put out, you're essentially adding a sheep to the resurrection pool, and that is not to be underestimated. So, thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're in the UK, it's currently a bank holiday weekend, which is pretty awesome, so I hope you're enjoying the good weather. And if you're not in the UK, well, hopefully you guys have got good weather as well. So anyway, thanks very much again. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys all again very soon for more Wild Mode fun.